Shalom, shalom. This is Paul and Yeshua. Welcome to the channel. These men don't care. And what I mean by these men, these so-called pastors and all these teachers out here, and they don't care. I posted a post about this on Facebook. We're in a time right now, a tough economic time, economic crisis. Violence is getting higher. People are becoming more demonically filled. People are struggling financially, losing jobs all across this nation. People are losing their job. And yet you still got the pastors out there talking about give them your tithes and offerings. They have somehow become the priest, become the Levites. When they say, bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in my house, what they're saying is that their church is the storehouse, so that there may be meat in the church. Read the Bible in context, y'all. They'll read the verses in Deuteronomy that say, bring, where Yah placed his name, that's where you take the tithe. And they'll say, yeah, Yah placed his name here in my church. Read through, you'll see it. Read through the book. You'll see it. Type in where Yah placed his name in Google. And you'll see countless verses where Yah placed his name. You'll see it. You'll see it. You'll see the verses. But they'll try to convince you that it's their church. There was a pastor. I can't remember his name, but if you type it in Google, you probably find it. Pastor that told his ushers, close the doors, close the doors, close the doors, close the doors. Told his ushers to close the doors so that nobody could leave the church until the church met whatever offering goal he had in his mind. See, these men don't care about what's going on. They're caring about extracting every last dollar from you. Basically these churches are telling you, I don't care if they're so-called Israelite churches or traditional Christian churches, they're having you sow seed offerings. And you're seeing the world fall apart. The economy right now, men should be saving their money and trying as best they can to preserve their family and themselves. If you can buy some land, if you can get some garden seeds, if you can plant some gardens, get some garden beds, whatever you have to do, doing some repairs on your vehicle, doing whatever you have to do to preserve yourself. Because we're in that time. 7 years of plenty seem to be over. Seems that we're headed towards an extreme 7 years of famine. 2008 looked like tiddlywinks. Make it look like nothing. And with the economic pressure comes violence. See, why aren't men today teaching other men how to plant a garden? I mean, now there are men out there that have done it. There are men out there that have rang the bell, have let other men know, hey, plant some gardens, come out of these cities. They've said it. But you got men today that are sitting there arguing. They're still arguing about the same old crap. Like as if everything is focused on them. Don't let anybody turn your focus away from the Most High, Yahshua, your family, to them. Yeah, fight my cause, fight my cause, fight. No. You don't have that energy. You don't have that time to be taking other people's causes. You're watching a world fall apart around you. A lot of men need training. They need to figure out how they're going to protect their families. They need to figure out how they're going to feed their families. They need to figure out how they're going to grow food for their families, how they're going to save money, how they're going to be able to, if you lose your job right now, what you going to do? See, these are the things that need to be talked about. These are the things that need to be discussed. Instead, it's all about what you can do to serve them, what you can do to sacrifice yourself for these men. While they're living up high on the hog, while they're sitting behind cameras and talking mess about somebody else. What are you doing? Why don't you hear anything about them saying, hey, why don't you hear any lessons? Brothers, hey, this would be a good idea. If you have some extra money, go get your vehicle checked out. Learn to do some simple things like give your car an oil change or rotate your tires or do your brakes. Learn a skill. Instead of spending your time listening to two men argue on the internet, instead of listening your time with a pastor telling you, give him your money, telling the same sermon over and over again. Why don't you learn a skill that you can make some side money off of? If you know how to change oil, you know how to change some brakes, you can make a little bit of cash. You know how to change some filters or change or turn rotors or change rotors. Some simple auto mechanic stuff. Some welding. You can know how to do a little bit of welding. You might be able to make some extra cash inside. How about grow some fruits and vegetables? You see what's happening with the food crisis that's going on, the food situation that's going on. Imagine if you could grow something, sell it, make some side cash. But instead, no, we are still party to the bickering and the arguing and the fussing of men. That's what we're still part of. We're still part of men, churches all over this country because they're hurting right now. The churches are. So they're making even more calls for offerings and tithes because they're hurting right now. People are losing their jobs. The money's drying up. People aren't giving as much. So now they're imploring you even more. If you really are, if you're a super duper Israelite, super duper Christian, you have to give to now. You have to give. You have to give till it hurts. This is the time to give, to show the Lord how much you trust him. And the Most High can't even trust you to be a good steward. He's giving you finances. He's giving you, the only thing you know how to do is give it away. You're like the lazy servant in the parable of the talents. I was scared, so I buried it in the sand. No, he's giving it to you so that you could have preserved yourself, preserved your family, made the wise moves, and you just scared. So let me give it to somebody else. Let me give it to somebody else. Watch them build themselves mansions and buy themselves jets and buy themselves expensive cars. Well, I can't even pay my rent. I'm about to get evicted. And my only hope is that pastor is benevolent enough to give me something back. Hopefully he's benevolent enough to give me some of the beans that fall off the table, some of the rice or some of the breadcrumbs that fall off his table while he's eating like a king and I'm starving. A lot of brothers are headed towards serfdom, slavery, just like the parable, just like at the time of Joseph. Those that didn't have food, they sold everything that they had of their possessions to get food. And then when they still didn't have enough food, because they did not listen, they did not obey what was said when the dream was interpreted by Joseph, what eventually happens, they had to sell themselves and their families. You don't want to be that person. These men are not going to tell you what you need to do. Now, some men are. Some men have enough care to tell you some of the things that you should be doing. Most of them aren't. They're just going to sit behind that screen and make every bit of their life about them and their problems and what they're fighting. And they're recruiting people for their fight. While they eat, you starve. They don't care. If they were watchmen of any sort, they should be telling you to come out of these systems. Continuing to show examples. Hey, and right now, it's a great time to grow radishes. Because right now, a lot of people are hurting, and they may find themselves in a position where all you've got is rice. Well, you got some rice and some vegetables, some radishes, some turnips maybe, and you can do a stir fry. You can eat. But nah, let's focus on us. This has become an us thing. Let's focus on me, and people are suffering and noise. Everyone's trying to squeeze the last dollar out of every other person. That's the mess that's happening. So think about, if your so-called leaders aren't helping you, they don't give a damn about you. If they're not telling you these things and preparing you, they don't give a damn about you. If they're trying to extract your last dollars, they don't give a damn about you. Shalom.